training for jiu-jitsu, strength and conditioning for jiu-jitsu, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they try and do a powerlifting or a weightlifting or a strongman or a CrossFit program or whatever for jiu-jitsu performance. And that's just not the best way. The training that supports jiu-jitsu performance is, enough on these different movement patterns to help improve maximal strength and explosive strength and strength endurance, but not too much to take away from the jiu-jitsu training side of things. That getting married to this is the best exercise, that is the best exercise is a big mistake, because there's no best exercise for jiu-jitsu. The best jiu-jitsu exercise is jiu-jitsu. Like, the only irreplaceable part of an athlete's training is their sport practice. For powerlifting, squat, bench, and deadlift is your sport practice. For weightlifting, snatch and clean and jerk is your sport practice. But for jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter if you're going to front squat, back squat, box squat, belt squat, safety squat bar, landmine squat, the list goes on. Get some squat movement pattern in. The one that the athlete can do safely, that their technique is good at, that they can create some output at, because we are there to get stronger, and that fits within the context of their plan. So approaching it that way is what I try and do. And then it becomes the idea of, like, how heavy should you lift for BJJ? In the same way that using a powerlifting or weightlifting program for jiu-jitsu training is an error, chasing strength numbers for the sake of strength. So I do have some like standard kind of things. A jiu-jitsu competitor can deadlift 2.5 times their body weight, squat 2 times their body weight, either or one of those, 3 pull-ups with 50% of their body weight added on to them, and bench 1.25 times their body weight, and all for triples, and all those that you're as strong as you would ever need to be. Hamlo Bahal is the strongest jiu-jitsu guy I've ever encountered. He was much stronger with the barbell than the other high-level black belts that I was training. He deadlifted 500 at 195 body weight, which for the jiu-jitsu guys, that was like, oh shit, he's ahead of everyone. If you go to a powerlifting meet, a guy who does 500 at 195, no one's batting an eye about that. That level of strength is not something that requires specific strength, specific powerlifting training to develop. It should almost be developed as it's a byproduct of well-designed training. Doing stuff that's 2-3 reps in reserve, 7-8 RPE, not going for true maximums, and not going to failure all the time. It's not going to impose as much fatigue on you as the training for powerlifting specifically would, or bodybuilding or weightlifting or whatever, where you're pushing for maximums or pushing to muscular failure. And it's going to get you plenty strong enough for jiu-jitsu, and all has to be developed in concert with each other. It's not like, all right, Chad said 2.5 times body weight deadlift. That's the good thing for jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to do this deadlift program, and I'm going to get to 2.5 times body weight. And then they're going to put this special stripe on my belt that says 2.5 times body weight deadlift. I'm better at jiu-jitsu at 2.5 times. Why am I not choking this guy out? Well, probably because while you were doing a fucking deadlift program, that guy was training jiu-jitsu. Most of the guys that I coach, they lift 2 or 3 times a week. They might do 2 or 3 more tempo sessions. A lot of them are training jiu-jitsu 6 to 10 times a week. You don't need to train for max weights all the time like a powerlifter would, and that's lifting to maximum all the time is not the best way to train for powerlifting either. It's even worse for jiu-jitsu. So every day can be modulated by how you feel. Jiu-jitsu guys are always getting little injuries, this and that. Taking 10 pounds less one day or changing an exercise to something that feels comfortable for the day, it's all fine.